Hello and welcome to Kenya School of Technology Studies. Today we are going to look at Introduction to Computing, topic Computer Hardware, Lesson 1. My name is Jackson Pachie, your instructor. Welcome. By the end of this lesson, we are supposed to have covered input devices, processing devices, and the main memory. Let us now start with part 1, input devices. An input is a peripheral device that converts symbols that people understand into bits that computers can process. An input device includes a keyboard, a terminal, a touch screen, a mouse, and a scanner, etc. Categories of input devices. The first one is keying devices. An example, a keyboard that is used for typing or entering data in the computer. A user types characters like numerics and special symbols using a keyboard. The input usually appears as a monitor. Keyboard. It can be connected to a computer system through a terminal. A terminal is a form of input and output device. There are different types of terminals, namely 1. Dumb terminal. This is an input or output terminal that does not have a capability of processing. It only enters and receives data without processing. We have another one, that is smart terminal. This terminal has some processing capability. It has a small memory. It performs some editing of data before sending them to a main computer. Intelligent terminal. This is a terminal that has a full processing capability. The terminal has a processing unit, primary storage. It may or not have local storage. Recently, most intelligent terminals have local disk. An intelligent terminal is actually a microcomputer with communication capability. Let us now look at keyboard layouts. The first one is QWERTY. QWERTY indicates the arrangement of the upper left corner 6 of the keyboard. We have another type of keyboard layout, that is AZERTY, slightly modified from the QWERTY keyboard, or this one is just slightly modified from the QWERTY keyboard. And we also have the diagram of AZERTY keyboard. Let us now look at Dvorak keyboard. This keyboard is devised to increase typing speed by placing frequently used keys more naturally. And there is also a picture representing this type of keyboard layout. Example of a wireless keyboard also is another type of keyboard layout. Now let us look at pointing devices. Pointing devices. The first one, mouse, an object used as a pointing device and drawing device. We also have another one, that is light pen. A light pen is a light-sensitive pen-like device used by pointing it at the display surface, e.g. especially on a screen. Let us now look at a digitizer tablet. A digitizer tablet is also called a graphic tablet or just a digitizer. The digitizer is a drawing tablet used to sketch new images or trace old drawings or photographs. The user uses a pen-like device called a cursor to draw images. Now let us look at touch-sensitive or touch screen. A touch screen is a monitor screen that allows users to interact with a computer system by touching an area of the display, Let us now look at scanning devices. Scanning devices also as an input device. So scanning devices or scanners can be used to input images and display character data directly into a computer-based system. A scanner is a device that reads spatial patterns such as images, graphics, and texts, and then generates digital signals of that pattern. Categories of scanning devices. The first one is optical scanners. They capture data using light, e.g. we have optical mark recognition, that is OMR. We also have optical bar recognition, OBR, and the last one, optical character scanner. The other type of scanners is magnetic scanners. They capture data using magnetic technology. There are two types of magnetic scanners. The first one is magnetic character reader, and also we have magnetic stripe recognition. Let us start with the magnetic in character recognition. A character recognition technology adopted mainly by the banking industry to facilitate processing of checks, and there below we have a typical examples of MICR. Magnetic stripe, the other category, is a hardware device that reads the information encoded in the magnetic stripe located on the back of plastic bandage. Also, it is composed of iron-based magnetic particles encased in plastic-like chip. And also there down, we have typical examples of magnetic stripe reader. Now let us look at part 3. The processor is a part of a computer that decodes and executes instructions. It is referred to as the heart or the brain of a computer-based system. These are now the functional units of a processor, and there we have the diagram representing now the functional units of a CPU. There we have input. From the input we go to main memory, or from the input we go to the processor, and the processor is made up of control unit, arithmetic logic unit, and main memory. So from the input the data is taken directly to the CPU, and from the CPU, after the data is being processed, then now we have the output. The other one, or the last category there, is the secondary storage. Therefore it means you can input the data and then you store, awaiting to be processed later, or you can enter the data, process, and output. Once you get the information, you can also prefer to store the information in that computer. Let us now look at further explanations of the functional units of a CPU. We have input devices. Input devices enters program and data into computer system. You have CPU, that is central processing unit. This is the part of the computer that processes the data that is entered in the computer. It consists of the main memory, the control unit, and the arithmetic logic unit, as it is well indicated in the above diagram. Now let us look at main memory. Temporary storage that hold programs and data during execution or processing. Again, main memory is also used to hold important programs or data in the computer, especially on the side of ROM. Let's look at CPU. CPU and its components. The first one is control unit. It controls execution of programs. The arithmetic logic unit performs actual processing of data using program instructions. Functional units of a CPU. Still, we have output devices. They display information processed by the computer-based system. The other functional unit of a CPU is storage devices. Permanent storage of data and programs before and after it is processed by the computer system. Communication devices. Communication devices, they enable communication with other computers, or communication devices, they just enhance communication between two communicating devices of the computer-based system. Now let us look at part 3, where now we are going to look and learn more about memory. This part is used to store data and instruction. It holds data and instruction awaiting execution, and also holds information awaiting output. There are mainly two types of memories. Main memory. Main memory or main storage. That is, it is made up of semiconductor memories, which are relatively fast but expensive. Examples are random access memory and read-only memory. Those are two types of memory. Let us start with RAM. RAM meaning random access memory. RAMs are used in computers for the temporary storage of programs and data. Data can be written and read from RAM easily. They store information or data so long as the power is on, hence it is volatile. RAM, since it is easy to change the contents of RAM, RAMs are the working memory of a computer system, i.e. where data is manipulated. There are two types of RAM. That is, basically there are two types of RAM. But as you continue furthering on, especially in this course of IT, you will realize that we also have more than one types of RAM. But basically now here we are going to look at two types of RAM. The first one being static RAM, that is SRAM, and dynamic RAM. There down we have a typical picture or graphic of a simple RAM. RAM capacities. They come in different capacities. That is from 16 megabyte, 32 megabyte, 64 megabyte, 128 MB, 256 MB, 512 MB, and even 1 GB. And also it comes with different types or speed or even models. Other types of RAM are like Edo RAM. You also have SDRAM and Cache. Now let us look at ROM. The information stored in ROM can only be read but cannot be altered during normal operations. The information is not lost when the power goes off, and hence ROMs are non-volatile. ROM meaning read-only memory. That means ROM is permanent. Any data or instruction stored in this section cannot get lost even if there is what we call power failure. ROMs are designed to hold data that are either permanent or will not change frequently. The types of ROMs include PROM, that is programmable read-only memory. We also have erasable programmable read-only memory and erasable alterable programmable read-only memory. The more memory in your computer, the more your programs can run at once. They often more means faster computer. So the more it has, the more your computer has a higher memory, the more faster it runs. Other types of memory are like cache memory, This is a high-speed memory. It is used to interface the slow communicating main memory to the CPU. The other type of memory, we have bubble memory. We also have holographic memory. We also have cache memory and semiconductor memory. This is now we have come to the end of lesson 1 of the topic computer hardware. Thank you.